Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, this is going to be a reading on day 2 of the Trump trial, specifically on the jury members that got sat. And for the second day in a row, Donald Trump was dozing off, nodding off during the proceedings. I have thoughts on that, not the least of which is the guy's 70-something years old, is in his late 70s. I don't think he sleeps particularly well. There are rumors of things that he would use that would be indicative of stimulants that he may not be able to bring into the courthouse, as it were, not legally anyways. And then there's just the general, he probably has like ADHD or something along those lines. He has no attention span and easily bored. I remember in the White House briefings, that national security used to have to dumb things down into the least amount of words possible with bullet points and use his name a lot if you wanted to keep his attention, because that's who he is, intellectually uncurious. So as like Midas Touch was saying, this, or Brian Tyler Cohn with his Democracy Watch guests. These are times where you should be on high alert, adrenaline pumping type things, and Trump can't even stay awake for it. So we're gonna look into the proceedings, see how things are going. Let's start off with the jury. So the jury itself, they've sat 7 people. They have somebody who lives in West Harlem, was originally from Ireland, an Upper East Side oncology nurse, and 2 lawyers. So for the jurors, so 7 jurors have been sat. 3 are men. 4 men, 3 are women. Other jurors are, you have somebody who's from Puerto Rico who now works as an IT consultant, a woman who works in education, and a software engineer who lives in Chelsea. So you've got a lot of professionals. You don't have, what you don't have? A lot of plumbers and bricklayers and construction guys that would totally, be real obvious to be in Trump's camp. And maybe it's because you have to be in the Manhattan area and it might be like a very expensive place to live and they can't afford to live there. I don't know the area very well, but that's one supposition, because everybody here, other than maybe the person who works in education, work in IT, you're an engineer, a couple are lawyers. You got some money coming on there. Those are not low-paying jobs. And that's fine, because it's not so much I want wealthy people on there, but a lot of these jobs are going to require people with critical thinking skills. So as far as that goes, I'm pretty excited. Now, Trump's lawyers were also looking at people's social media accounts, and a lot of them, I guess, weren't very flattering to Donald Trump. And that got some jurors kicked off because of their social media accounts. But as Hawk from TikTok points out, for hours he got to sit there and just get pummeled by people's social media accounts that were not flattering towards him. And he had to endure all of it. So, a couple of things that we've already gotten as gifts from this trial, and the trial hasn't even remotely come close to starting yet, is that Trump keeps falling asleep. So when he accused Joe Biden of being low energy and Sleepy Joe, it's actually him that's low energy and sleepy all the time. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the energy around the jury so far. Spirit, if you can give us an idea of the collective energy around this jury. What do we got going on? 2 of coins. Okay, I think it's a good start. 7 down, 5 to go type of thing. But I think it's also, they have a jury, just to flip the card so you can see a little bit better, a jury that's willing to contemplate the different facts. You're going to hear both sides of the story, and it's up to the jury to decide which side of the story makes more sense. Crossed with temperance. Sweet. Okay, so temperance is about detoxification, taking your time, being contemplative, healing. They're going to look at all the facts, the evidence that's presented to them, and then they're going to take the time and put together the story. This is not going to be race to the judgment line. They're actually going to be a contemplative jury. At least so far, that's what they've got going on. Underneath it all is the Chariot card, and they're going to make progress. This is not going to be a jury this is not a hung jury. This is not anything right now that indicates anything this is a hung jury. This is a jury that's going to make slow and steady progress, contemplating the evidence and the value and worth that one should place on that evidence in order to come up to a unanimous decision. Patience. Honestly, this is exactly what America needs in a jury right now, if these cards are accurate. Because, again, you're contemplating the evidence. They're taking serious this. You're talking about a former president of the United States accused of 34 felonies. You better make darn sure that you've thought everything through, you've gone through all the data, and keep making progress on this. In the past, we got the Strength card. The people on this jury have to be able to put aside their biases. Not always the easiest thing for some people to do. They're going to have to hear things that they don't want to hear. And they're going to have to rule on something that might be against what they would normally feel like doing. But honestly, I get the feeling that this jury, as we have 3 major arcana now, this jury is going to be professional. This is almost, you could say, this is going to be the American jury system at its finest. For all the flaws that we have, how about a 4th major arcana, the World card? And you have people around the world. You have somebody who was born in Ireland who's going to be in here. You have somebody born in Puerto Rico who's on the jury. We might have a few more immigrants that make it onto this journey. But I think this journey is going to listen to the whole story from beginning to end, and they're going to make the connections. So far, excellent. Now, if these connections indicate that Donald Trump was totally set up, and this is just an innocent little mistake, I'm sure they will rule that way. But I am also pretty sure that if this jury hears all the evidence and they conclude that it's conclusive that Donald Trump was guilty of this, they're going to hold him accountable for that. Overarching energy is the 3 of Wands. Okay. Waiting for your ship to come in. I think this is too early to say, 3 weeks, 3 days, or anything along those lines. This, to me, is that they're willing to wait for information. It might be 3 days before the jury's fully filled up. But this 3 of Wands is like... they know they're going to be away from their jobs for a while, away from their normal life for a while, but they're okay with that, and they're going to let the data come to them. They're going to let the evidence come to them, and then they're just going to debate it. They'll debate it as it comes in. There's a lot of flexibility in here. Interesting. Interesting because we go from a 3 of Wands to a 2 of Wands. The lesson to be learned is the 2 of Wands. You have to be open-minded. You're going to have to look out into the distance and just be open-minded about the facts. And I think some people's worldviews, by the time this jury is done, I think some people's worldviews are going to change a little bit. And it could very well be, it could very well be that they come closer together because they've gone through a shared experience. I'm somebody who sat on a jury for about 3 weeks. It was a medical malpractice jury, and there were 12 of us, and we needed to have 9 of the 12 agree on the results in order for the results to become effective. And we had one person who just did not want to be there, and she would purposely not pay attention, to be on her phone the whole time during testimony. It was really annoying. But we got through it, and it was a great experience. I would do it again, but I'm also fortunate enough that I have a job that allows me to do that and pays me while I do that, my normal salary. as opposed to, you're out of luck. You're gonna have to figure out how to pay your bills when you're not working, type of thing. Civic duty and all that. But I think they're going to come away with it with a better appreciation for the American jury system and how jurors can come together and bond. Outcome, Queen of Swords. I think the jury foreman, or forewoman, as the case may be, is going to be very no nonsense, very cut and dry. This jury is going to be very cut and dry. I do not see a hung jury on this. I do see a very united jury, and when they have all their information, they've listened to everybody. This is what this is. They're going to let everybody talk. They're going to listen to what everybody has to say, and then they're going to narrow things down until, keeping an open mind on everything like that, and then pragmatism comes in, and they make their decisions. This jury is going to be amazing. That's where I'm coming at from here. We're only 7 in so far, but if everything keeps going the way it's going, this jury, do not fear this jury. Do not fear that somebody's going to get in this jury and just throw a spanner in the works. A monkey wrench for my American friends. The British people are like, what do you mean monkey wrench? Spanner is the proper terminology. Aussie friends too. Okay, that's a bit of a relief. You start getting stressed when they start doing stuff like that. Okay. What do they call him? Jan Corleone? Sleepy Dawn? Trump falling asleep. Yeah, he's not known for a long attention span. I know I can fall asleep and stuff like that. I could picture myself being in a situation like meetings like that and I'm dozing off and you're trying hard, but it's because you're not actively involved in it, or I don't understand or care about the content. It doesn't matter how much sleep I got the night before. If I'm mentally checked out, that's going to happen. It can happen to me too. I think if I was up against 34 felony counts, though, in his jury selection, somehow I think I could maintain focus. So I'm not 77 years old, or however old Donald Trump is, 77, 78. I guess he's going to be 78. I don't use stimulants that I can't sneak into the courtroom for entertainment purposes only. And, yeah. Again, come on down. Let's find out what's going on with with Donald Trump and his inability to stay awake during this trial. What a gift for us. He doesn't like what he's hearing. He's bored. Oh God. He's bored, and he doesn't like this. And he's just like that insolent tween that's just sitting there, arms across their chest, just being insolent. No, I don't want to do this. I don't want to participate in this. You can't make me do this. No, type of thing. And, he's got an opportunity to participate. He doesn't want to participate in this. What's that crossed with? The Moon card. You would think the anxiety of the unknown would impact him. But I think there's also more going on than just him not wanting to be there. You've got eclipse energy working on him. It's probably, if you want to think of like the eclipse is shadowing and blocking the light, if you think of that light as being his energy it's like his energy's been turned down or dimmed, like the thermostat's been turned down on him. And he can't turn it back up. But also, again, to me, this guy's got like ADHD or something like that. He can't focus. That's not what he does. He's easily bored. He's never had to do something like this where he's had to stay focused for long periods of time. And not only that, he doesn't get to go and leave when he wants to. He has to be there. This is just absolute torture for him. The rest of us learned these skills when we were children. We may not have liked it, but we learned them. He's never learned them. And the other thing is like, not only is he bored and doesn't want to be there, But it's like he knows that there's stuff that he'd rather be doing outside. Now looking like the sick kid looking out the window. Oh, the other kids get to play and I have to stay inside. But it's also knowing what's coming next, just like you can see the next card as I rotated this around. Knowing what's coming next. Knowing that these people are about to get through your perimeter and find out stuff about you that you don't want them to know about. And not only will the jury know about it, but the press is going to know about it. And this could spur on other investigations. He is not a happy camper about this. And not only that, it's like once you get through this case, you've got 3 more cases waiting for you at least. Not good. Not good. So why is he sleeping? But we're getting, he doesn't want to be there, but we get while he's sleeping. Okay, so that was the next card that I saw was the Devil card. I think that, Trump is used to being able to do what he wants to do and convincing people to join him. He's always in charge. In this instance, he's not in charge. He's the one who has to be there and stand at attention while somebody else, this judge, is in charge. And he doesn't like not being in charge. The Devil card can also represent addictions and things along those lines. So something that he voluntarily takes to give himself that that energy or that edge, again, may not be something that he can readily have available to him when he's in the courthouse. Entertainment purposes only. I have no information on what that might be. I'm just some random guy on the internet throwing tarot cards. What do I know? For those of you who like the evil laugh, here we go. Current situation, falling asleep. I'm just going to rest my eyes. It's, the swords are pointing down. Swords are about intelligence, and it's the lack of intelligence. It's the lack of intellectual curiosity. In other words, he's bored. He doesn't sleep well, and he's bored, and he'd rather be anywhere else. So it's almost like he starts daydreaming. Donald Trump probably doesn't ever daydream because he's always, active, doing stuff, trying to get over on somebody or bullshit somebody or something along those lines. And he has to sit there and be quiet and not fidget. And he just can't get up and do anything. And he can't make noise. You just got to sit there. So what's left is his mind. He has to go into that dark, scary place that is the insanity of his mind. And he has to go sit in there. I want you to think about this for a second. We've talked about Donald Trump having a health event. Likely a stroke. Heart attack or stroke, possibly both. And I've said, think about the karmic nature of it if he becomes a prisoner in his own mind, where he can't communicate, he can't talk, he can't really react, his brain is on low power, all he can do is maybe mutter to himself or grunt or things. He can't convince people to do things for him, which has been his silver-tongued devil type thing. He can just get anybody to do anything by talking to them. His entire life has been like that. You've lost that power. The power that the devil gave you, you don't have anymore. You don't have that silver tongue. And now you, again, if you have a stroke and you're not communicative, now he's trapped inside his own body with just his evil, nasty, pathetic thoughts as his cellmates. Nobody to help him. Nobody hanging around him. Nobody giving him comfort. And if they did, he wouldn't even notice it because he's trapped with his cellmates in his body. What we're seeing right now is a black cat stalking me. Yeah, you. Yeah. Yeah. Here he comes. People have been asking about you, Nico. They want to know, where's Nico the cat? How come he's not up there? He's so cute. He's adorable. Yeah, and not when he's running around at 12:30 in the morning chasing toys down the hallway, just pulling me right out of a deep sleep. And then I can't. Every time I start dozing off, he does it again. You have anything you want to say to yourself? No? I'm a cat. What do you expect? Nighttime is the right time. What we're seeing now, pick it up right where I left off. What we're seeing right now with Trump is that in this court, he's bored and he's starting to go in. He's starting to, start daydreaming and thinking about things. And then he starts he starts nodding off, asleep, because it's like he can't do anything. He can't talk and convince people of things. He's just got to sit there in his own thoughts. This is the precursor. This is like the holding cell before going to prison. He's in a holding cell right now. This to me is kind of karmically, this is what's going to happen to Donald Trump. 4 of Swords. He's going within. He has done so much stuff externally in this lifetime. He's now going to start to be forced to go within himself and look at himself inside, and it's going to be uninterrupted. He doesn't, in my mind, he doesn't need to be in Rikers Island or anything along those lines. If he's trapped in his body, that's a horrific sentence, and it's a life sentence. Just saying. No. All right, overarching energy is the Knight of Swords. Okay, why is he falling asleep? Knight of Swords. Because he's impulsive and he can't do anything. He's somebody who is just always impulsive, and it's that impulsivity that gives him the adrenaline rush and makes him feel alive. So he's the exact opposite of that. He's just got to sit there, bored, low energy. And he can't generate that energy on his own. He needs a boost. So it's like, what they say, objects in motion stay in motion, objects at rest stay at rest. He's at rest right now, and he can't get his motor running. And there's nothing in the courts that allow him to get his motor running. The only thing that's out there are those microphones that are outside the courtroom on his way in and on his way out. And if they got rid of those, he'd be even in worse shape. Lesson to be learned is the Queen of Cups. He's emotionally, he's starting to shut down. Because in the courtroom, he can't just have outbursts whenever he wants to. It's going to get punished and could lead to incarceration through contempt. So he has to behave himself. He has to shut down his energy, and he can't just uncork it whenever he wants. This has got to be excruciating to him. I am trying to do a reading here, my friend. This is what I have to deal with here. Meow, 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 meow. I'm going to have to pause and decap my cards here because he won't stay still. Hang on for a second. Okay, he's been released to go do cat things, and I've recreated this spread here. His emotions are in check. He can't have outbursts. There's actual consequences to him right now. And it's working. He had one outburst where he was muttering stuff or uttering stuff, and the judge, after the witness left, because a witness who was dismissed, the judge tore into his lawyers, telling his lawyers to get their client under control, and that he wouldn't tolerate behavior like that. Let me get this back a little bit here. Okay. What's the outcome here? 6 of Coins. Charity, greed, health, a diminishment. He's going to be diminished in all this. And I ask him why he's sleeping. You can almost seem like people are asked if he was getting sedatives. There's something that's being offered to him. I don't know if these are sedatives to keep his emotions in control. Can you imagine if he's on antidepressants or something along those lines? Antipsychosis drugs. I think it also could just be the judge is like, do not attack the witnesses. It's going to cost you a lot. The fines right now are not that awesome. I mean, it's $1,000. What's $1,000 to Trump? But incarceration can go with it too. Six of Coins. I think we're going to continue to see this lower energy behavior from him on this one. Now, I'm going to ask that low energy behavior. How is that impacting people's perceptions of his persona? Keywords there. No, there was a woman on the jury came out and was describing having seen Trump in person, and he's just some guy. You see him on TV and he seems like this powerful person, but when you see him in life, it's just like, oh, he's just some random dude. Yeah, exactly. He's no better than anybody else. He was born with more money and more resources, and he's not used them for enlightened purposes. He set himself up as an anti-enlightened person. How will this low energy impact his persona, his mythology? Again, it's funny. Projection is something the Republicans and Trump do. They call him Sleepy Joe because Trump is the sleepy one. He's the one who can't pay attention and focus. What's this going to do for his persona? The Emperor. Let's see what's going to be the cross there. The Chariot and the Burden. The first thought that came to mind was, okay, and the reason why I threw 3 cards, are we talking about the judge or we're talking about Trump? Right now, I'm going to stay with Trump on this one because I'm asking about his persona. I reserve the right to change this to the judge to see how things are going. Because if this is the judge, here's the judge sitting here, keeping the case moving forward despite any difficulties that he comes across. He'll just handle the difficulties that comes across. You can see how easily that flows. If we're talking about Trump's persona, this is the emperor with no clothes. And it's going to continue he's going to continue to have his clothes removed, and more people are going to see just how petty and naked this emperor is. And he spent a long time building up this powerful Teflon Don invincible force, and it's very, very difficult to maintain that, especially when you're falling asleep all the time. In the past, we've got Judgment. People see him on TV. They see all the headlines. They see what the media's talking about. It's the trumpet. The Trump. It's the Trump. All hail the Trump. He's the next American oligarch. He's the next American royalty. He's nothing can stop Donald Trump. Top of the game. He overcomes all burdens. But now people are seeing a different Donald Trump as we go to 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana in a row. People are starting to see a different Donald Trump. They're not seeing the invincible Teflon Don, the invincible emperor. They're seeing the emperor with no clothes. And it's going to happen more and more. He is on the decline. He's on the wane, as it were. How about 5 major arcana in a row? As his power diminishes, as people see him as vulnerable and not a powerful leader, but just one who's bare naked, they see him in a different light. And this is what starts the healing process for people in their families. They start getting rid of the propaganda. They start seeing him for who he is and detoxifying. There's a detoxifying effect that is going to happen with this as this man loses more and more of the mythology that he's built up around him. The lesson to be learned is the Queen of Swords. You can build up an illusion all you want, but the minute they look behind the curtain, the magic show's over. The minute they see what the tricks are, the illusion, and they can see how the illusion's played, it's like, oh, yeah, you fooled us. Okay. We all get it now. We all see what this is all about. And I think that's, again, what's going to happen here is people are going to understand exactly who this guy is. It's not going to be everybody. It will never be everybody. But more and more people are going to see this guy for who he is, and they are going to say, oh, okay, now I know who this guy is. And they're going to do something about it. It's a lot. I say a lot. There's going to be a lot of people whose minds are changed by this. It's not going to be the MAGA crazies. They are not going to change their mind. They just can't. They're full on in a cult. So you know those guys with the American flag jackets and the Trump flags where he's pulling his chest open like Superman or something like that, or there's a T instead of an S for Trump. Those folks, they're gone. Just write them off. There's really no hope for them. Yeah, there might be a few that fall off, but they'll fall to the next QAnon thing. But we've lost them, and we're just going to have to kind of accept losses. But there are other people that maybe are undecided, or maybe they like Trump, but they think that, the media is biased against him, or they don't like his tweets or something like that. These are the people that are going to look at him and say, yeah, about that. Oh, so he is a rapist. Oh, he did have an affair with a woman. He raped a porn star, and he had an affair with a woman who fell in love with him, and he just was using her for sex. Yeah, I've been there, used for sex, or I've got girlfriends that have been there, and it's going to be relatable, and they're going to start looking at Donald Trump as a pig, and they're just going to be disgusted by him, and it's going to turn them off. Trump cannot afford to lose people. He can't afford it. He doesn't have enough supporters as it is, and the only thing that you can do is try and discourage other people from voting and encourage all your people to vote, and then you need shenanigans on top of that. But if he can't get all his people out to vote because they're discouraged or they're disgusted by him, or worse, they vote for the other candidate because they don't want you to be in power anymore, and there's a lot of people that say they will not vote for a felon. And these are felony charges. And they might just be true to their word. Maybe not all of them, but I'll bet you part of them are. And that's going to be a loss of votes. And that's what we need in order to get Biden reelected and potentially have a blue wave. Because, other than voting for the Democratic candidates, the next best thing to do is for a Republican not even to show up. Because that means not only are they not voting for Trump, but they're not voting red down the whole ballot. And now you really do get a blue wave going across. I'm not advocating for people not to vote, but I'm just saying from the perspective of wanting a blue wave to happen, that's kind of how it happens. People that will vote blue that would normally vote red, my brother would probably fall into that category. He voted for Biden the last time. He is sure as hell not voting for Trump this time. And, maybe he votes for his House member. Now, his House member is a Democrat in the area that he lives in. It's going to be a Democrat. But if it was a Republican, like a Devin Nunes type person or something along those lines, or Marjorie Taylor Greene or something like that, he wouldn't vote for that person because they're not a serious politician. And he wants stuff done. And there might be people like him out there in districts where their votes would matter. And we're here to help them with that. All right, I've rambled on long enough. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. Thank you for tolerating my cat. Nico just has to insert himself sometimes. Thank you for your likes, shares, comments, everything you do to help feed the YouTube algorithm so that my videos of my cat and these tarot cards make it out to a wider audience. And to that wider audience who are filled with cat lovers and tarot curious people, welcome to the channel. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.